The sweetest boys in all the land. Are you cold over there?
I actually think I have a chill or something. I feel so old. I've got a chill. But yeah, I've been like sneezing and stuff, which isn't like me. So,
dude, that's no good. Like cold or allergies? Do you think? Because we've got the sun and everything now. So
yeah, I think it's funny because I've always said I don't have allergies, and Anita's like, yeah, you totally do. Because I would sneeze, like for me, growing up, when I would vacuum, I had to clarify that to somebody that they didn't understand what hoovering was. So when I vacuum, that I tend to start sneezing, and I just associate it with there being dust particles in the air, but I never associated it with like being out amongst like grass or plants. It never happens that way.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. As somebody who does sneeze every time I'm anywhere vaguely near the outside world and the sun is out. Yeah, welcome to my world.
That's where my dad used to go, you're just allergic to work and cleaning.
I got that so much, and it was just sort of like, you know what, screw you, because I worked hard. I was just literally allergic to the outside world. If you're standing in the middle of Ireland, in the middle of a farm, surrounded by grass and haystacks and cows, and normally you live in the city, yeah, of course I'm going to sort of like explode into a shower of snot. Delightful person that I am.
I am going to say to people, if you see me doing this like throughout the session, it's because I'm checking a 3D print that's happening over here. It's failed twice so far, and I'm going for a third. As we're doing this.
This is Rory, of course, setting himself up for, I wasn't concentrating. Yeah, Michael, no wonder you won.
Exactly.
It's fine. Oh, yeah. So what have you been up to? Also, by the way, hello, Yoss. It's nice to have you
here. Yeah. So I think Yoss is going to join us next week for a multiplayer game.
Okay, cool.
Excuse me. So what have I been up to? Continuing with our D&D with my solo D&D game.
Oh, you're not calling it Untold D&D anymore?
No, it's become too much of a mouthful.
It's a bit clunky.
Yeah. And yeah, like still trying to get the flow of D&D, how it works, like and looking things up, and like what kind of check am I meant to do here, and but there's been interesting twists and turns, which has been the kind of the point of it. So I'm on the last scene that I haven't played in a while, and I'm just finished off the truth revealed, where I had to go into a kobold tunnel, and they'd stolen some weapons from the armory, and we had to go in. So it was like they were after this all along. So they were after some weapons in the armory, and I went in after them and captured some. So, but I mixed it up with Dungeon World has this really neat dungeon creation system. So it's not like the standard, this is the room and where it's the physical structure of it. It's more about the thematic essence of it. And you kind of like define spaces by them having characteristics and traits. And, what are common areas, describe what a couple of common areas and describe a number of kind of unique areas. And you're basically rolling the dice, and it's telling you whether you've encountered a common area, and if it's a common area, which of the common areas you've encountered, and they can keep coming up. And the unique areas you assign, they can only ever come up once. So as they come up, you tick them off in the box, and it kind of defines when you kind of get to a dead end, or when the dungeon ends is when you've explored all of those unique areas.
Okay.
But it was interesting. So kind of chased the kobolds through the tunnel and found them spying through an opening, kind of role-played them, us sneaking in and overhearing what they were saying, and then getting into a fight and taking them out. And so we dragged two of them back, the two of them that we captured. We brought them back. And yeah, so the plan is like that they're digging the tunnel at the bequest of the giants, and they're going to flood the tunnel, and in doing so, flood the castle. And this is all tied up to do with the kind of crusade going on between the humans and the giants. So it was that thing where I rolled the dice for the last scene, and I'm trying to figure out what they represent. So I was like, I'm just going to walk away for a minute, and then I'll come back and see if I have any inspiration, because it was like 11:30 and going, I can't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very impressed that you manage to actually play stuff late, because I mean that's your time, really.
Yeah,
I know we've discussed it before.
I kind of make myself do it, but like one of the interesting things I've noticed with solo role playing is I can just go back and rewrite stuff that makes for a better story.
I mean, true. Very
true. So an example was, and this has helped me get better at being a kind of a DM. So after an encounter, you get treasure. And so I rolled and I got like 3 platinum coins, which seemed quite a lot to get from a few kobolds hanging around in a tunnel. So I went, oh yeah, well, they kind of were being submissive and they gave us the coins. But then when we were bringing them back and the weapons that we found and handed them back over to the armorer, I went, actually, it would be far better if he gave us something than we got the money. So I kind of went, okay, well, the armorer basically says, thanks a million, have your pick of something. And I just basically took equipment that was the same monetary value as the platinum coins that we had found. So the kobold didn't grovel. Just like written out of history.
Oh, they're gone. Just wiped out. That's all right. So before we started up, you mentioned that you got something in the mail. What did you get?
Well, so did you, and I've been talking more, so you tell me first.
Okay, all right. So last week I put a bunch of sort of like small box games up on a couple of the Facebook board game sales groups here in the UK, and managed to get rid of a fair few, because they're just sort of sitting there. They're not going to get played for a while. So I figured, all right, do you know what? That sounded like a cow, but I'm sure that was your 3D printer.
It was, yes.
Yeah. I got rid of a few bits and bobs, and not in the sort of like in the mind to actually pick anything up. But then I noticed that somebody was selling the fancy deluxe version of a game called Carson City, which is, or has been for the longest time, something of a grail game for me, trying to like, holy crap, I would, because I had an original copy of it ages and ages and ages ago, but it was like, the first edition. And it was one of those where I lent it to somebody and never saw it again. So boo words. But yeah, somebody had the Quined Games super, fancy version of it at what I thought was a very reasonable price, considering normally they have like 12 copies of it at Essen, and I miss it every single freaking time. So, it's normally like €100 there, but I picked up for like 60 quid. So I'm like,
nice,
entirely happy with that. So yeah, it landed late yesterday, and I'm like, oh. So opened it up, and it's like it's unplayed. It's been sorted, but it's not been played. So I'm just sort of like, yeah, this is going to be a beautiful gaming experience. And it's got like some promos in there that aren't available anymore. One of which, because it's Carson City. I believe Carson City is the capital of Nevada, I want to say.
Sorry,
but yeah, it's
like print.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it's like a Wild West land grabbing kind of game. Yeah, you said, is it failed?
Yeah. I'll explain it in a second. I can get tech support while I'm here.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like a land grabbing game, and you build buildings, and they increase in value and all that sort of good stuff. And it's just got lots of lovely mechanisms that I wanted to play again. And now it's sat on my shelf, my golden shelf of opportunity, because I'm upgrading it now because it's the stuff I really want to play. And as we get closer and closer to getting vaccinated, then it'll be like, yeah, we can make it happen.
Cool.
So yeah, it's so lovely just finding a game that you've wanted to get back for the longest time And 60 quid, 65 quid is not a small amount of money in any way, shape, or form. But it's lovely to have it back. I'm looking forward to introducing everybody to it. It's going to be cool. Meanwhile, on your side, aside from failing 3D prints,
I have a couple of things. One, I've signed up for. I'm doing some research around game libraries, especially like rental libraries, not just kind of walk in. Because I kind of want to, on the community level, I want to do something with our game collection. So I signed up for a UK-based game library and have rented Newsford, which, you know me, I'm not really a Eurogamer, but I've heard that this is pretty good for solo play.
Yeah.
So I've rented that for the month to give it so it works on a month basis. And it's like if you return it earlier, then you can rent, I think, your next month earlier and you get longer with that one.
Okay.
But there's always kind of like a month's time. So yeah, I was kind of checking into some of them. Really interesting, some of the different stuff that people are offering, which is kind of nice in terms of like game cafes and clubs and memberships. And yeah, that's kind of nice. And then I ordered, which arrived today, Macro Crime City.
Oh, nice.
So I knew like my family will really enjoy playing that game together. Like, and it's so hard to get my family to sit down and play a game together. That's an impossible. Like, I can't get everyone to play a game. It's like I might get one or two, but every other time it ends in someone storming off. I don't need Monopoly to have that happen. It just happens with her in general. So yeah, this one has come in, and I just love how they teach you the game on the box. It's so smart. It's so smart.
They have a website as well that has its own case on it, and it's just an ingenious little thing. It's so clever.
The work that goes into it. Like for those who don't know, and probably even watching will know, it's a crime-solving game, but it's a visual crime-solving game, and it's kind of like Where's Wally, where it's a big black and white map of isometric view, so it's that kind of 30-degree perspective, and you're basically given like a crime to solve and certain things to discover in relation to that crime. So you have to search that the map for things like where the crime scene is, who was the person who committed the murder. And it's just telling all of these little stories. It's so good where, you find a bit of information and then you kind of scan around it to see maybe that character turning up again somewhere else and to work out, was that like before or after the current one you've seen? Just trying to chase back then to like the moment of the crime and then, what led up to it or what happened as a result. So, trying to chase the robber and figure out where they went afterwards and where their hideout is. But yeah, it's just like tons of information. Keelan thought, and she was like, "Oh, great, can we color it in when we're finished?" She was joking.
I thought the exact same thing because, like that, the whole city thing, it is not small. It's a good size. And I was just like, man, that looked really nice, just sort of like put up on a wall. Just, yeah. I mean, I want to see if I can grab a copy of it. So where did you get it from? Because it's very hard to find at the minute.
From Fanboy 3. No, I asked them back in January, I think.
Okay. But no, I loved trying the case on the phone. It works beautifully as an app as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it sort of transferred over to that. But yeah, working out where this sort of like little guy with a huge afro managed to stash a gun, like walking around going, where did he put it? And it's just, and when you make the realization, it's just like, you feel super clever. And you're going to really enjoy it. I think you're going to really love it.
I think because we like bizarrely we actually sit around almost every day and complete crosswords together. That's the one thing that we enjoy doing. And it's also helping, like the girls having come from Irish speaking schools, their spoken vocabulary is really good, but sometimes their written one isn't as strong. They don't always know the spellings of certain English words.
Okay.
So doing the crosswords is helping them kind of connect what they know verbally with their kind of written version of it as well.
Nice. That's really cool.
So yeah, and it's actually, I'm realized I'm actually kind of good at crosswords, bizarrely. And also I had Cardgenic sleeves arrived with that order. So I had like my Marvel Champions half sleeved, and I'm kind of trying to avoid sleeving stuff. But if I'm playing a game a lot, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to sleeve them more because of the dangers of them getting wet more than anything else.
I'm down with that. I'm thinking about, should I sleeve mine? But then I'm thinking also, good Lord, that's going to cost an absolute fortune. Because we've got everything. We've got every Marvel Champions expansion.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, I don't think you need to sleeve every card. I think it's having most of the villains, the encounter decks, things that are being used on a regular basis. But I also then today there's a friend of ours who was saying he used to play games in the morning when he would get up. I was like, okay, I'm up fairly early. Maybe I could do that instead of reading, which I normally do. And so I gave Shards of Infinity another play, the solo play.
The solo version, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really, really like it. It's
cool.
It's kind of nice in terms of the ticking clock. Because there's a couple of them ticking. There's if the deck runs out is one, if your health is reduced to 0 is another, and if your nemesis gains 30 mastery as well. And there's a kind of really nice thing where as you level up, as you gain more mastery, it's a bit like Star Realms, where you now unlock more powerful versions of the cards as you play. But the comboing in it is really nice, how things kind of trigger off each other.
You're just a sucker for comboing, man.
Well, like this is just, it's quick to set up and it's quick to play. There's no downtime. The way you resolve the AI, it's actually a really neat system. So with the AI, you're playing you take one of the character cards, and they represent one of the 5 characters in the game, and there's matching cards in the draw pile, and there's a market with 6 cards in it. On the Nemesis's turn, you flip over the top card of the draw pile, and if it matches their kind of like faction, they gain 3 mastery. Then you resolve the card, and then you resolve all the other cards in the market that are the same faction as that card that you revealed.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting way of taking it then.
Yeah, so you're kind of like watching the market going, I can't afford to have a whole bunch of one type of card in the market, because they're all going to fire if they get that type. So you're kind of like, I find I'm paying more attention to the market and what's in there than I would if I was just playing, against an opponent. And it's kind of like that idea of watching what the other character is, or player is adding to their deck. And so their end resolves really quickly. Just does all that stuff, and it just goes back to you, and you have your turn. So you're going backwards and forwards, and it just means more of the time is spent on your turn than it is on their turn, which is nice when you're playing. And I'm not the fastest player. It was probably my first game between setup and kind of like refreshing and everything was about 40 minutes. But you should be able to, if I was to play it the second time, that second game would probably be about 20 minutes, I'd say.
That's not too bad at all. I mean, because there's so many games that have solo modes where there is a lot of bookkeeping to be done, and your focus is very much drawn away from what you as the player are trying to do. But yeah, that sounds like really interesting.
Yeah, and there's a co-op. So there's a campaign mode, which a co-op version of it as well, which I was actually just watching the Jamie Stegmaier video where he was kind of going, it's one of his favorite campaign games, the way they've developed it. But I'd have to play it two-handed, which I don't particularly enjoy doing, but I'd be willing to give it a go with that.
Cool.
I think I'd rather just stick with the solo version the way it is now, and then wait until I'm with someone to play the campaign one, because that's done simultaneously, which for a deck builder is quite interesting, because you're trying to time when you buy cards from the market, and then you can combine your attacks together as well, and you can heal the other players with your cards. You just can't give them like your money as well. So it's pretty neat.
Interesting. Nice. All right, yo, should we play some game?
Yes, let's.
All right, so welcome once again, dear friends, to the arena. I was going to call it the Arena of Glory. That is a different stream. That's where the World Chat Championship takes place. All right, so what's the plan for today, sir?
So I was thinking about, again, I suppose during the early development of the game, people were asking about, varying stats on the Mokon, and would they have different, attacks and blasts to make it more interesting, which I was kind of fairly dead set against, because the idea was about learning it. And, as you gain Prisma levels, then you could start to tune things. So it kind of struck me, I hadn't actually, and we'd focused a lot of it onto the hero. Like, that was your hero, and that was what was changed. But then I kind of thought, well, your emotions belong to you, or they're kind of part of you. So I created a few powers that allow you to basically enhance your Mokon.
Okay.
Really simple things for now, the way they work. But I think it could be quite interesting, and that's what I'm kind of keen to play. So basically I've got duplicates of them in the decks.
Okay.
So let me just bring up my thing, and I'll kind of talk through them. So it's telling me I have a bad connection. Sorry, just jump back in again here. So they kind of mimic ones that are the hero can gain. So increasing hits, increasing blast, increasing strike, your force when striking, and increasing your move.
Okay.
Like your range, which I think might be too powerful, because it would also increase the range of their ability. So I'd have to possibly get a bit more specific. But if you want to have a look at this one here.
Volatile feeling. Okay. So when you focus this Prisma power, assign it to a Mokon on your squad.
Oh. So I did these like at 1:30, and that's going to be on all of them, because I copied and pasted that phrase. Right.
Well, you can now strike with force +1. So that is the Mokon can now strike with force +1.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and that's all I had. That's the only one I have at force 1. Because I know in the core game we have blast is a +1, but I think it's quite a cheap power for what it gives you. So I've made it +2 in this.
Cool. So next up we've got persistent presence. When you focus this Prisma power, assign it to a Mokon on your squad. That Mokon now has hit level +1. Nice. So that's going to be very interesting, having that extra health.
Yeah.
Because of course we're going to have to concentrate a lot on that. Active emotion. When you focus this Prisma power, assign it to a Mokon. They now have range +1. Yeah, I think you might have to specify that to something like movement.
Yeah.
Like range +1 brackets movement only.
Well, and what I would do is possibly actually do another one that increased the range of their abilities. So I think that's actually worth doing.
Cool. Intense feeling gives a blast with force +1. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they're just duplicates. So it's basically 4 cards.
Okay.
So what I was going to suggest is And the reason why I say when you focus it, because focusing it could happen when you gain the Prisma power in the middle of the arena, or at the beginning of the game. So it just controls when that actually happens.
Cool. Also, hello to Rob, who's just jumped in as well. We're going to be playing Rob's Roll and Write, Flip and Write on my stream later on, which is going to be cool.
Okay.
All right, fling some Mocon at me, man.
So we're gonna do the tag team.
Yep. All right, so we got Ledron, the board. Which one are we using for that? That one?
Yeah. And
Sona. Bored, happy, and sad.
And again, I'm just kind of assigning them theoretically. We could choose before we set up which one we want.
Yeah, of course. That's interesting. You got like three of the newbies.
Yeah, I do actually.
Actually, I have two of them. So yeah. So Rob says his game's only partly is. Yeah, I know you designed it with Chris. But also, are we trying something new, or is this just a straight play? So no, we're doing a couple of new things on this one. So we're trying the tag team mode, where each player gets 3 Mocon, and you can basically tag one in, removing one by. What do we decide? They have to be in one of the spaces around you. And
yes, they have to be adjacent to the hero, and you do it at the beginning or end of a Mocon's activation. And when they leave, we're essentially bouncing them. So when they bounce, your opponent will score points at that moment.
Yeah, assuming they've done hits on them, of course. And yeah, we've also got some potential power-ups for the Mocon as well for the first time we're going to be trying them out. So that'd be cool. Who won last week? You did, I believe. So I'll keep hold of this.
So do you want to start with the Prisma power, or do you want to like go for the center and get it? Actually, do you know what I'm going to suggest? Because these are only level 1. We both start with one of these.
Okay. And then if we want to run for the level 2, we can go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, I'm going to say we have to, like, to win this game, you have to obtain the power.
Okay. You have to beat your opponent and have a level 2 power. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who should I give this to? I will give this to. I'll give it to Sona. Yeah, why not?
Well, I kind of feel like I need to go to Krusta.
And of course, when they get tagged out, then they'll go with that ability. They'll go with that power.
Yeah, it's assigned to that Mocon.
Okay. All right. I'll drop thingy there. Let's go for there. Every freaking time.
So I'm actually going to change it up a little bit. Okay. Sorry. Do I want to do that?
Well, if you put it there, that means I cannot get to the center, even if I have a sprint.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to stop you from being able to do that.
No, you kind of do.
Well, I don't want you to be able to. No, because I have to block. Like, you've got these great lines of fire coming in, so I've got to block at least one of them. Okay.
Right.
Actually, so I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave it open.
All right, let's see if I get the big sprint. All right, placed.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Shuffle the deck. Does the deck have the new powers and stuff in it as well still?
I think so. I think it was set up so that there was one automatically in it.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
All right. Note to self: Rory has a new power. Okay. New card, rather.
Yeah. So Rob, the other thing we're doing is we've got some new combo cards that we're trying out as well. So this is that thing where the game is slowly mutating with each change, but I mean essentially it's so different from the base game at the moment. Because we've all new Mocon and we've new combo powers and we've new Prisma powers actually for the first time.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And we're tagging.
This is next level play, yo. That's how it goes. Please go first, Rory, by the way.
Okay.
Cannot get the Agatha all along music out of my head, except putting other people's names instead of Agatha. You also know there's another streamer, performing nerd, a guy called Tom, who specializes in doing Rubik's Cube stuff, and he has a thing, and it's just like, who's been messing up everything? It's been Tom all along. But it will be Michael all along.
Okay, I'm done there.
He's made his move. Well, I didn't get a sprint, so I can tell you that. Let's bring the draw out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over to you.
I'd like to pick my hero.
2,
3, 4.
Okay. I'm just going to put that up a little bit.
Oh, no, at this time I'm going to strategize. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. All right, I'm going to bring up Sunna. Curving around the corner there. Back over to you.
I will activate just 1, 2, 3, 4.
So does this show up? Yeah, you ruined it. All right, let's bring my hero up into the game then. We'll move him up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we might as well start, as we mean to go on, with a focused blast. Hitting poor Croster for 3. Like so. Then I'm going to combat that into a rush. So that'll be 1, 2. I can blast with force +1 during the move, which will be enough to take Croster out.
Okay. I'll do that. Yeah, it's okay.
So that'll get me 4 points. And I will end my turn on the center spot to grab myself a power. So is it grab 2 and choose 1, isn't it?
Draw 3 and choose 1.
Draw 3, choose 1. Okay.
Now there are duplicates in there, so
that's fine. So I can do active emotion, which is range +1, and we're going to say that's specifically movement range. Yeah. Okay. Intense Feeling, which is a Blast +1. Oh, that's what's happening, my friend. That's what's happening. And let's give that to the draw. All right. First step to victory, man. I've got my power. Hooray for me. And that's the end of the round.
Okay, so we're going to reset.
And I did what I always try to do, which was use at least a couple of cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, Rory, would you care to go first? I just feel like, how much of a butt do I feel like being? I think I'll just leave my hero on the center spot.
Okay.
Fallen. Hurt me ankle.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. Just for fun. So, oh, hang on, I could do that actually. Ooh, that makes more sense, I think. Or does it?
I will, Rob.
Okay.
I will be all of the butt.
I will blast for 2 with Fist Rock against your hero.
No worries.
And then I will yeah, I'll move, so I'll charge.
Cool. So that's one of the new cards. Move 2 to 3 spaces, ignoring grappling. You can strike with force 1 during the move.
1, 2. So I'm going to strike for 1. 3.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
I like the little loop up and just a quick jab and then a run away.
And then I'm going to end my activation and switch. Oh, no, sorry. During that move, this was the whole point. When Fist Rock ends a move action, adjacent to a rival hero, I wasn't doing that. Oh, man. Hang on.
Well, you can either take him in or you can...
No, you know, I'm going to do this instead.
You're going to do the tag?
Yeah. And switch them out. So they're going to leave at the end of their activation. I'm going to switch in Demuck and put them...
and they can spawn in any space around you. So, yeah, that's a good call because then they're out of harm's way.
Yeah, so they're there. And then... I totally misplayed all of that. Because...
well, you know, you're concentrating on your 3D printer, Rory. That's the...
Well, no.
You're sad about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we can do here. This is probably silly, but why the hell not? I'll activate my hero. 1, 2. Yeah, and they're going to hit you with a forceful strike. So that hits you for 3, or rather hits your hero for 3. Then I get to move you 1 space. So 1.
Okay.
Knocking you away. And yeah, so you're going to have to use a card to reach the center. Well, basically, you can't reach the center on a basic move, but you can. It's pretty nasty. Like if you run through, you'll get grappled and all that sort of good stuff. Learn. The AI is learning. The AI is learning. Question for Yoss: Is the box printing, Rory?
No, I've stopped it. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold up what it looks like. I'll do that afterwards. So I am going to activate Custa and blast, and it says when Custa activates and their squad has the lowest score, they may take 1 hit to add range +1 or force +2 to the next action. And that's hang on, I'm completely wasting that to do that.
Was it a focused blast you had or something?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm so not playing effectively at the moment. So I'm going to do focus blast through, basically yell at Crust to
get out of the way,
Jock. So they're going to take 1 hit and blast through them and hit your hero for 3.
That is enough to take him out. So, boom, if I come back, that does put me behind, but that's okay because when my hero spawns, that means I'll get a card.
How are your Mocon feeling?
Oh, they're super good. So Ladron is not going to do anything because I've got the cards. Sana is slightly less happy. Actually, you would have hit me for 4, wouldn't you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, Sana's just slightly out of range. So yeah, you don't get the extra point for the extra health, sadly. So sad. Okay. Let me activate the drone. 1, 2, 3, 4 up the side. There we go. Back over to you.
I think I'll just have to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Evasive strike.
Okay. So you get the hit, and then you get to move 1.
Yeah, so I'll go back that way. And that's 3 hits on your Mocon.
Yep. All right, so the only one you've got left.
Oh, yeah, no, and then I'll actually just play that. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, cool. So you run in the middle, and you get your power. So active emotion, or persistent presence.
What did you go for? You went for the blast one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the move one. And
I think that's a good idea. Move is like I always underestimate the usefulness of an extra space.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to take that, I think. I'll give it to D-Muck.
Okay. All right, so I have one character left to activate. That is Sunner, who goes 1, 2. And Sunner's going to do an evasive strike on your hero for 2.
Okay.
Like so.
Looks like my hero is going to get bounced next round.
We'll see. All right.
If you want me to repeat something you said.
Quiet, Alexa. Unplugged. All right, reset for the next round. Draw a couple more cards. Okay. Oh, sorry. I did a strike, didn't I? Yes, I did. Sorry, your hero is bounced, Rory.
Okay.
I apologize.
Oh, you got +1 strike?
Yeah, Sunner's got +1 strike. So I actually will not get another card when my hero comes in. Well, with that in mind, then I will give it to you to go first again, Rory.
Okay.
Give me the tokens.
Oh, here. Let me too.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just go to the overhead and grab it from them.
Okay.
Super well. Okay, cool.
Let me see. You're letting me go first.
I'm letting you go first, Rory.
Well, I should probably activate my hero because I'm going to get the extra combo card if I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to activate my hero first.
Okay.
Draw a combo card. And okay, then I'm going to put them in there. And I'm just going to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll strategize.
Just cycling through 9 million cards. Yeah, your Alexa Unplugged is the new album coming from our offshoot company, Hub Music Studios. It's going to be great.
Okay, I'm going to get there.
All right. I'm going to activate Ladron to do a move. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to combo into a dual blast. He's going to blast with Force 1 twice, or rather Force 2 twice. Say goodbye, D-Mock. Get out of here.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So that gets me another 4 points. And I'm going to barge in a bit to run away. So move 1 to 2 spaces. So 1. Two. Yeah, there's better. This is it's got a vibe of like very quick back and forth.
Okay, I'm going to activate Krista, and when they're behind, they can take a hit and add +1 range to their movement.
Okay.
So they're kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pow! And that's going to hit you.
That'll be enough to get me out. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't get close enough to do a strike is the problem.
That's all right.
And I think I'm going to leave them there.
So it's another 4 points for you then. So we're at 10 to 14. So the only one you got left is Demok to come back in. I will. Yeah, why not? All right. Activate Sana. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do a throwing strike. So Sana gets +1 to their strike. So I'm going to hit you for 2. And then I get to move you with throwing strike. I get to move you 1 or 2 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, there.
Okay.
All right. Back over to you.
Oh, so hang on. Thing is off the board. Another one.
Oh, yeah, sorry, man. Thank you.
There you go.
I got it.
That is such a waste. I teamwork there and just blast for 2.
Okay. So Sana takes a couple of hits. Like so. All right. I will bring my hero in. I'm in the lead, so I don't get an extra card. We're just going to do a straight move. 1, 2, 3, 4 up the middle channel. Done.
Okay, reset.
All right. Okay, flip that deck. Shuffle.
So what I'm noticing is like a reluctance to tag out the Mokon, or the ones that have the powers on them, which would be less of an issue if they all had one.
Yeah.
But it is like I'm choosing to focus on this emotion more. Which that's kind of the flavor of kind of going, you're more invested in that feeling.
Let's think about this. I'll go first. I think it's probably a mistake, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to move my hero. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go into a diving blast. Move 1, and then blast with a force -1. So that does 2 damage on Croster, which is enough to get them off the board and gets me 2 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Done.
Okay. I can't do any of those things. Ah! Oh no, I can. No. It's like I have to do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what's the fun thing to do?
Winning, Rory. Winning is the fun thing to do.
Okay. Foolish, but I'm going to do this. Okay. So I'm going to move, and I've got +1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
When DMOC activates. Within range. I wasn't. Sorry, that won't even work.
That's all right. Wind it back. Wind it back.
I'm just going to blast. DMOC for 2.
So that is enough to take Sun out of play.
Right. And
gets you 4.
And then I will barge, using my bonus, my extra move. 1,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3 to go 3 to the. Hang on. That doesn't help me. No, wrong one. I'm gonna have to use rush. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm using the +1 on my move.
Mm-hmm.
But my blast with force 1 during the move, I can't, because I can't target anyone. Big waste. So what I'm hoping is, because I'm going to get to go first next turn,
Mm-hmm.
be able to activate within range of your hero and hopefully copy. Or
1, 2, 3, 4. So Sunna just about manages to buff my hero.
okay.
Back to you.
It's weird. My Mocon really aren't working in my favor at the moment. I'm going to activate my hero and strategize.
Going to assume that was not great.
And 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Ladron jumps in to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to you.
Okay, I'm going to activate Krista. We are behind. So I can
You can take a hit to get a boost, should you desire.
Do I want to?
Do you wanna?
Sure, I will. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there.
Nice. I get the feeling the next round's going to be one of them bloodbath rounds.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of the round. That token goes over to you. Draw a couple more. Okay. Have you a horse over there now?
Yeah. I get to go first.
You get to go first if you want. You could let me go first. Oh, geez, serious. Look at that. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get you, Mike.
No. I'm only thinking like the next action ahead. So I'm behind.
I love that. There's no tactics here. It's just pure reactionary action. All right, let me see the overhead view.
No, that's not good.
See what I can do out of this.
Okay, so I'm going to activate Demock.
Okay.
Right. Finally, when Demock activates within range of a rival character, draw and reveal a combo card. If Demock does not use that card during their activation, place 2 hits on the hero's hit gauge. Okay, I forgot about that bit. See, it would help if I read the cards. Oh, man. Oh, that'd be quite fun. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. Throwing strike.
So that'll hit for 1.
1. And then I get to move you 1. No, hang on. I get to move you 1 to 2 spaces. One, 2 to there.
Okay.
Then, yeah, this really isn't effective. I will barge. So I get a range of +1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to there. Yeah, I kind of mistimed this one, I think. And Geoblast.
Okay, so hits for 2.
I'm actually going to put 1 there, 1 on each.
Okay.
And I'll leave it like that.
Okay.
Doesn't feel like it was a very smart move. Hand waving and running around. I can do this and I can do that. And then he just gets blasted.
All right, so I'm going to activate Ladron.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising nobody. Hitting Demock with a blast for 3.
Yeah, see, I forgot about that bit.
And then let's combo that into.
I know what I should. Well, it doesn't matter.
Let's do actors 1, but just for the move. 1, 2. Combo that into an evasive strike, which would be enough to get Demock off the board and gets me to 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the last round. And why the hell not? Let's throw that into a weave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over to you. Got some cards.
Mm-hmm. It was too far away. I am going to activate my hero and strategize. I'm going to put that back underneath. And 3, 4.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you planning? I don't trust you. Okay, I'm going to activate then my hero. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming back into the back corner.
Yeah, I completely messed up.
I thought you were pulling off some sort of like big major move, and it's just sort of like,
no,
you can't kill me.
No, those I actually could. The problem was that that's how I could have done it. Shoot. I was trying to figure out because you'd moved Sonna in.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought your hero had activated. I just wasn't keeping proper track.
I see, I see.
But so, 1, 2. Oh, hang on. Okay, I can try this, but I don't. I think it would actually be the same problem as before, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take a hit because I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
To get an extra move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not going to work. So I can dual strike your hero for 4 because I've got +1 strike.
Yep.
And see, this was the issue. I can barge, but even if I knock you 1, 2 away,
they're still within.
Yeah.
Sonna's still within range of my hero. Yeah. So I'm still standing. I'm like Elton John.
So what I was trying to do, I had that barge, and I was going to have my hero barge Farg and knock him over a space, so that I would have been in line of fire for him to get his like +2 on his first action.
Okay.
But the cards just wouldn't combo for that. So I tried to strategize to get something that might have helped him more.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. So
Well, if you're going to run down there, I've got 1 activation left, which will be a blast for 2, which will take you off the board. Get out of here, the ultimate indignity.
Dope.
No.
But I'm kind of curious if it had worked the other way. So your hero was here, wasn't it? Or was he there?
So I ran back 4, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4. So they were.
Were they there?
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
And Sana wasn't right. Was Sana right beside them like that?
No, Sana was just there.
Yeah. So if you were, I'm just trying to think, if you were there and Farg had
Crosta
had come over to here and performed the dual strike,
and
then gone 1, 2, it still wouldn't have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're still within range.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a way that you could. The only way you could have got out of it would have been by getting the damage on the hero,
and the next one,
and then doing either 1 extra damage on them or doing enough damage on Sana to knock them out, which wouldn't have been possible because they had no hits on them at all. So, thank you very much. Is it 2 against 1 next week, Rory?
It's not 2 against 1. It's just free for all.
Yeah, everybody versus everybody. PvP. It's going to be good, brutal times, I think. Because yes, folks, Yoss is going to be joining us, and it's going to be cool.
So again, I'm curious. I'm glad we're doing. For me, I'm glad we're doing this at a point where we already know the game. But I keep kind of going. This is how most games start, though, at this level of complexity when you're trying to learn them. What do you think of the idea of boosting the Mokon?
I really like it because if you are choosing to boost the Mokon, that means that you're not boosting your hero. So it's going to sort of like level the playing field out that way. And we're not talking significant boosts here. We're talking like, a +1 to a strike, a +1 to a blast, or a +1 to your movement range. I don't think it needs to be much more complicated than that. Because, the hero stuff, they got stuff like Zippy, or they got stuff like, hey, you can shoot through obstacles, all that good stuff.
Well, if you think the combination of what we have right now is 3. So that's the equivalent of like, is it called Flurry or Blitz, where you can combo cards together. It's the same as the one where you can run around and deal hits when you're moving around the character. Yeah, this feels quite different. It's like your awareness is spreading across the arena. It's not just about you. You're invested in your Mokon. And so the hero is actually less effective.
I don't know. I'd say that the hero is as equally effective as they normally are. It just happens to be that the Mokon have a little bit more sort of like push to them, I guess. They have a little bit more. It's just that 0.1% extra that means, hey, yeah, I'm going to go do this. Like, so when I got the dual strike, like I felt like an absolute genius when that happened because I was able to actually pull it off. And it's like, well, was it dual strike or dual? No, it was dual strike. Yeah. That feels really nice when you actually manage to pull off a move like that. And the Mokons feel more, the Mokon singular, they feel more deadly, I guess. They have
in the Irish sense or in the
yes, they're deadly. Well, no, they actually, I was going to say lethal, and that's exactly the same thing as well. Just lethal.
So what I mean is, like, so much of the game is centered on the hero, and we kind of did that on purpose. But it makes the hero a real target because all the cool stuff is on them. So if you can take them out, you're kind of slowing it down. So with this, you're kind of like, I'm choosing not to be the center of attention. It's going into the Mokon. So yes, the hero is the target for points, but in terms of like effectiveness, you've kind of like distributed things a little bit. And you're having to make up for it as well because the Mokon are getting bounced more frequently because of their score.
I mean, I think this kind of points to the game maturing a little bit, and that is sort of like reflected in the characters, reflected in the heroes. That it's not just about the heroes anymore at this point. It's about everybody that's on your team. It's about you and the Mokon that you actually have. And I think an expansion should reflect a maturing of the game. It should be that step up. It should be, not adding a lot more complexity, but it's adding just a little bit. You've played with the base game a lot, you've enjoyed it, and you want to change things up a little bit. And I think the fact that we then have like our main character, we have our heroes who, by the time we actually manage to get an expansion for Prisma Arena out, I'm going to assume most people will be, they'll have fully leveled up heroes and they're going to want something a little bit different. And the logical thing, in my opinion, is being able to put a bit more of a focus on the Mokon that you have available to you. So yeah, I actually really like it. Now, you mentioned during play that we didn't really tag. You tagged once, I tagged 0 times. But I think that's just because the way the game was going, I just think I had I kind of had a upper hand of aggression, I guess. And it just didn't seem the right time or place to bring Brone in and use them. But in another game, perhaps where I was playing more defensively, then yeah, I probably would have done more tagging in and out. So sometimes you're looking to test something and it doesn't work in the fit of the game. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I was always behind, so I was always going to be frustrated. As in, I would want to have Krusta there to try and benefit from that. And likewise, with DMOC, I was trying to get the upper hand. I wasn't in a position to be able to kind of like plan around what you were doing. And also you were kind of using your cards. So I was watching quite a couple of times and going, I would never have had, because I think, with Fistrock, they would have always come in. I wanted to use DMOC first. Now, there's probably a point where I was misreading DMOC's ability, so I should have probably switched Fistrock in. It would have been more useful to me. And then switched to DMOC before they activated. But I just got that timing wrong. But yeah, I think DMOC and Custer were fitting for my game.
Well, no, I enjoyed it. I actually think that's the power addition to the Mokon. I actually really like it. I think it's good. And not sure about having the level 1 power. Like, what was the thinking behind that? So the the volatile feeling is a level 1, and the other's a level 2.
Yeah, because in the core game, the Blast with Force +1 and Strike with Force +1 are both level 1 powers. So technically, the one you have would be a level 1 power. The Intense Feeling. I just changed it to 2 because if I was ever to errata anything in the game, I would probably make the Blast a +2 because, in line with movement, the range one, because they're quite powerful. The more powerful, I think, than strike.
Because I think these are pretty powerful powers. That's a really redundant sentence. I would actually make them all because it's not you getting the bonus from it, it's the Mokon getting the bonus from it. I would say that's something that a more skilled, a more trained hero would need to do. I'd put them all at level 2 because it's not affecting you directly; it's affecting your Mokon. Because it gives a Mokon a significant advantage. It's that extra step, it's that extra hit, and I think that could be. It's quite a game changer. You have to think an awful lot more about it. Whether you're the person who's got the power, or whether you're the person across the table from who's got the power.
I'm trying to think, and I closed the program, but there is a level 2 power. That is, I don't know if it's level 2 or I think it might be level 3 is the problem, is the summon Mokon one. Find it here. So I'm just going through the cards. Well, coordinate is level 3. Once per activation during a move, you may choose 1 to 2 ungrappled friendly Mokon and move them the 2 Mokon 1 to 2 spaces. That would work really well with the level 1 power, because you're setting a Mokon up for blast, potentially. Let me see. Prismatic link. When you re-enter the arena, that's when you may come in adjacent to a friendly character. Okay. Then good. Prismatic shift. There is one. There's a couple of Mokon ones. I'm just trying to figure out where they are. They're level 2, I think. I know there's command. Prismatic punch, prismatic pulse, prismatic speed, rainbow tendrils. Where is that? Prismatic strike, prismatic ward, pitching blast, staggering strike, kinetic shield. Sorry, we're getting to it eventually. Acrobatic. It's not even that one. Where are they? Zippy. Prismatic projection. Oh, hang on. Maybe it is a level 1. Or I've missed it. You've got Rally. Ooh, that would be interesting. Which is a level 1 power. When you're bounced, choose a friendly Mokon to perform a blast or strike with force 1. Now, if you were to combine that with the boosts they have, would be quite interesting. And then there's transfer hits and stuff like that would be quite interesting, because they if you have more hits available on the Mokon, they can take that longer. And Cole is level 1 Prisma power. That's what I was thinking of. Once per activation during a move, you may choose 1 ungrappled friendly Mokon anywhere in the arena and move that Mokon 1 space. So that would synergize quite well with those powers. And that's what I kind of want to make sure, is that they can team up. So that would mean a nudge are both level 1, which allows you to kind of essentially barge your Mokon when you're moving. So yeah, I think that would be a level 1 and a level 2, and then there's maybe something else you could give yourself that would help you. But it means you're only ever going to boost 1 Mokon. Because if you've got 2 level 2 powers, that's all of your powers given to the Mokon.
Yeah. Well, maybe having them all as level 1 instead is the way to go. If you wanted to boost your foot, if you had a squad of 2 Mokon, you are then devoting half of your power allocation to boosting them. So, and you've got to get the powers as well over the course of X amount of games too. So I think it's Yeah, I think ones would be okay.
If you had ones, you could basically have 2 powers on each one. You would. I'm trying to think what else would be happening. I think a mix of ones and twos might be okay. That's why I kind of kept strike, because strike is a harder one. You have to get in close, so you're not going to get to use it all the time. Move you always get to use, and blast you always have a higher chance of using that as well. So I would just experiment with, I think, the scoring of them. Keep some of them 2, keep some of them 1.
Cool.
But yeah, you definitely have to think more about what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's good. It's an enhancement to the game, a game that we already enjoy. So yeah, I think it's good, man.
Cool. So yeah, we'll come back and play. So the purpose of playing 3-player next week was to really check the tagging, and see how that works, and also to test some of the newer Mocon in a multiplayer setting to see how they work. So I think we should probably be playing as part of our squad that we have 2 of the newer ones each, and then maybe 1 of the older ones.
Yeah, that works. And then also, I'd suggest just be testing the tag rules, not having any powers, that sort of stuff. Just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Because then we can always ramp up the thrills and spills later down the line.
Yes.
So what's your plan now? Are you going back to swearing at your 3D printer? Let's have a look at it. Come on, let's have a look.
So, hang on. Has started happening. I tried. The prints were curling up off the edge. Was the problem. So I tried increasing I kind of cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol, and I tried increasing the heat to kind of keep the stuff down. And I think I've somehow messed up with the first layer height, because a couple of things. One, this has started happening where it's kind of buckling as it's going down.
Okay.
Which is kind of odd. And then the first layer isn't really sticking to itself. So I've a funny feeling I've got my Z height too high, that it needs to be spreading that filament a bit more, so it's actually touching off against each other.
Yeah, Yoss says lower Z.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that you would be able to get the technical advice line on a call in a moment or 2.
Oh, well. Yeah, I also, I have just other stuff to do, but I do want to try and get this going so I can essentially leave it to print. So I will wrap up here.
Cool. Well, thank you for playing. As always, lovely to hang out and stuff. We'll be back on Wednesday, when we actually will have Will and Cole from Drive Check, the Cardfight Vanguard podcast, with us, which is going to be good, lovely times.
Yeah, so actually, that was one thing I wanted to check in. Like, how are you? What are you thinking now, having played Cardfight Vanguard? Because I can tell you what happened to me afterwards.
Okay. Having played it, and also having watched the first episode of the new run of the anime, the Overdress anime, I definitely want to play it again. I don't know if I'll stick with watching the anime. I'll probably watch like maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes just to see if they give me a bit more of an I assume the main character is going to have to learn how to play the damn game.
Yeah.
So they'll do a noobs walkthrough, just so I will watch that as well, just to make sure I got it down. But yeah, I definitely want to play the game again, especially if the starter decks are going to be as reasonably priced as you said, because then that's going to be just fun for me, sitting down there looking at these things and going, okay, like I said on Wednesday, how will this interact with this? How can I make this thing trigger? All that sort of stuff. And it was cool actually seeing on the first episode a couple of the cards mentioned that we were playing. So I had Violence Bruce, my God.
So yeah, I actually started looking at Premium, which is the where you can play with the older cards.
Okay.
But again, I saw it was like, well, there's certain cards you need to play, and I think a lot of cards I have become redundant. They're just not as powerful, even though I have like some triple rare cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of looked through my binder and was like, nope, don't fall back into this. But having said that, I think I would happily pick up the 5 starters and be able to play with them. Now, apparently, there's essentially 10 decks between the starters and the booster box. So the booster box has the cards for you to build 5 other decks out of it. But you'd have to get enough cards, which is always the fun challenge to get what you need. So I don't know if it's guaranteed you'd be able to build the deck or it's going to be kind of limited. But it'd be good if you could buy a booster box and that was going to give you 5 other decks and everything you need to play.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that the starters they're going to be going for like the equivalent of like £4 or whatever. Like if we get that over there, fantastic. I assume the boosters are going to be like standard price though. Like every other TCG. And you can always buy in bulk, I guess, and try and get buy the boosters in box format instead of just buying them as singles. But I don't know. We'll see. Will I get enough game out of the starter decks? Probably.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that I'd just have enough fun with them. And if you're not playing competitively, it's a bit like Ashes. You just take out the deck, play it, have fun with that.
Yeah.
And put it away.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you've got like hundreds and hundreds of like Vanguard cards there as well. So we could just like, play amongst ourselves as a group and go, like just make daft decks out of ridiculous cards using new rules.
Yeah, we can play at the old stuff as well.
Yeah, it's all good. Cool. All right, get back to your printing, and I'll catch up with you over the weekend, and indeed we'll catch up with everybody over on Wednesday, which will be good.
Yes.
Cool stuff. All right. See you all later, prequels.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
See you later. Bye.